That's right, everyone. This is Tim Line Big Blue bringing us the New York Giants Sports Talk Entertainment. Oh, you know some Giant fans and Giant Nation are already saying, we suck now. Hey, we're terrible. 7-3. It's not a terrible thing. Yes, the Eagles squeaked out that loss against the Indianapolis Colts. I said it during the stream. I thought the Giants were going to lose this one 35-17. I felt this was the ultimate trap game for the Giants because I even said I thought they had a little bit too much of an air of confidence about themselves. And I noticed it over the last couple games, and I've mentioned it a few times. I brought up some specific players, and I just felt that they were going to come down to earth. And you have the big game against Dallas on Thursday. So I even said I thought they may be overlooking their opponent on Sunday, the Lions. And the Lions are a very dangerous team. The Lions went through a dearth in reference to scoring points. They went through that little bit of Sahara, but they consistently were putting up 30-some points a game. Their biggest concern was defense. They couldn't stop anybody. And I was worried that they were going to figure out, put 8-9 in the box, you stifle Saquon Barkley, which they did, and you make the Giants throw the ball. And that's what they did. Barkley, 15 carries, 22 yards, 1.5 yards a carry. Daniel Jones, yeah, he threw for 341 yards, but he also had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. And they were 2 bad interceptions, too, to be honest. There's no consistency with this team. You can't move the ball between the 20s and sputter in the red zone. This has been going on for Daniel Jones for 3 years. 3 years this has been happening. It's a red zone issue. It's always been a red zone issue. Thank God for Graham Gano. But the problem is Graham Gano can't kick us into the playoffs, and Graham Gano can't kick us into where we need to go. And honestly, what we need to do right now is we need to have short-term memory loss with this game. We have to block this game out of our memory. And it's going to be hard because you got Adoree Jackson who went down. I kept telling people for the last weeks, Adoree Jackson, we were at the game last Sunday and I was there with Irish Rover and I kept telling him, I said, Adoree Jackson, all he needs to do is catch the punt and then fall down. I don't want him running the ball back. Fall down. Hurts his knee today. Wan'Dale Robinson's also out with a knee injury. The defense, they got exposed once again. And it's one of those things. You got 37 rushes for 160 yards, 4.3 yards a carry. Justin Jackson, big 27-yard run. Jamal Williams, again, 17 for 64 for 3.8 and 3 touchdowns. They have talent on this Detroit team. They just don't have a defense. And that's a problem. And I know a lot of fans overlooked this game. A lot of fans were, we're going to win this game, blah, 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 blah. No. Use your football smarts and use your football sense. This was like I said in the video, this is this live stream. This is the ultimate trap game. You're coming off a win, off a bye. You have a short week. You have a divisional game in Dallas. You're 0-1 in the division. You needed to take this game so you can have some comfort going into your divisional matchup with the Cowboys. You lose in lose in Dallas, you're 7-4. Philadelphia eked out that win over Indianapolis. So what you need to do as a Giant fan and as a Giant in general, you need to have short-term memory loss. You have to forget what happened this Sunday. You have to go and just remember, you know what, and this is where Dable is going to make his money. And this is where I talked about weeks ago that when the Giants hit that adversity, it's going to be the mettle of the team that is going to help push them through. And people are like, what, being down 10 points is an adversity? No. A bad loss against a 3-6 team at home is adversity when you're going into a divisional game the next week on a short week on the road. That's adversity. How this team handles that adversity is going to be paramount. This is where Dable is going to make his money. This is where my man crush is going to pay off because I have a feeling they could go in and beat Dallas. They can. But the problem is you have to understand that this game was coming. A lot of us saw this game coming. A lot of this, and it was funny because even when game was like 5-6 weeks out, I kept saying to the people, don't sleep on Detroit. They got a terrible defense, but they got one heck of an offense. This was a bad loss at home. It is what it is. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson, until he went out, had 9 catches for 100 yards. Darius Slayton looked good. Hell, Kenny G had 2 catches on 2 targets for 29 yards. You had, Hodgkins. He had the big fumble, in which we lost. But, with this game, we knew this game was coming. We knew it. Intelligent, smart Giant fans knew and understood this game was coming. And like I said in the stream, this was an ultimate trap game. I said 35-17, like I mentioned. It was 31-18. You have to have short-term memory loss. You need to turn around and refocus your energies. And that's what I think the coaching staff is going to do. That's what I hope the coaching staff does, that they understand and preach and practice what they have been preaching, that this is only one game. And we have to look at this one game at a time, one opponent at a time, and we have to look at what's in front of us, not what's happened or what happened behind us. And I think if we can do that as a franchise, if we can do that as a team, the Giants will be fine. The Giants will be fine. The Giants could have an opportunity to go into Dallas, and the Giants could hopefully move forward and try to get a victory in Big D. But like I said, the smart money was this game was coming. This game was happening. And like I said, I just hope that in some regards, some of the people that have been going a little too crazy about the Giants and a little bit too crazy about what they are and what they're not understands what they are. They are a team with flaws who won games that they should have won, hopefully should have won, and they have done things that they were not expected to do. And like I mentioned a million times before, they're playing with house money. You're playing with house money right now, which is great. When you play with house money, you can't go wrong. And I've said that before. That's why, to me, Shane and Dable got an extra year out of this, because if you get 9 wins, let's say, or 10 wins, you're gravy going into next season because no one expected you to win more than 4 or 5 games. But you need to have that short-term memory loss. You need to understand it's 1 week. You need to understand you need to move forward, and you need to understand what this team is and how they're constructed. If Saquon Barkley does not get rolling, we do not win this game. We do not win games because we need Saquon Barkley. Sorry. Daniel Jones may have thrown for 344 yards, but he's still the mistake-prone quarterback that we saw in year 2 and year 1 when the pressure's on and he needs to make the plays. Let's just be honest. And if we can be honest with ourselves, we can have a lot more fun the rest of the season. If we could just be honest, understand, you know what, this team is what it is. Let's focus on next week. Let's focus on Dallas. Let's focus on winning. Let's move from there. Because at the end of the day, it's one game, it's a blip in time, and we can move and push forward. And you need to do that not only as a player, but as an organization, and understand you need to do what you need to do and get it done. Again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you like, subscribe,